before I get started on this video, hook 'em. And that game, I think Sark forgot to take the offensive play calling to him when he went to Ohio. He forgot the play calling in Austin, and half of Arch was left in Austin as well. That's what happened to that game, and that's why Texas looked like they did on offense. That offense is so bad. Coach Sark and Arch Manning were the reasons why Texas lost this game today. And in my opinion, a lot of it is on Coach Sark because that offense was not good, and I don't think he adjusted to his quarterback. And that is his job as a head coach and as an OC, is to adjust to what you're seeing your quarterback do. I think Sark came into this game with certain plays he wanted to call, with certain things that he wanted to do. But when he got in the game, I don't think he adjusted to his quarterback until it was the second half. That is a problem to me. I also feel like Texas's defense, solid. This University of Texas defense, I don't care what anybody has to say about it, holding Ohio State to 14 points, I thought that was remarkable. So kudos to this Texas defense. Texas defense is doing the thing I thought they were going to do. Texas offense remains a liability. And like I said in my preview video, I think this Texas defense is going to have to carry this Texas offense for a little bit. I think it's going to take the offense some time. I think it's going to take Sark some time to figure out Arch Manning. And I think it's going to take Arch Manning some time to figure out who Arch Manning is in a game. I also hope this removes all of the Arch overhyping. I hope this removes all of the Arch is going to do this, he's going to hang the moon, he invented football. I hope now people can take a deep breath on Arch Manning like I have been asking them to do when Arch was named the starter. Everybody that has seen any of my videos knows how I feel about Arch Manning. Do I think Arch Manning will be fine eventually? Absolutely. Do I expect Arch Manning to go out there right now and be all world and be all everything? No. I said in my preview video, I just needed Arch to take what they were giving to him. Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't. Football is a game of inches, and Arch Manning was off by inches today. Now, do I expect him to continue to get better? Absolutely. This is a journey. He's going to get better. And if today was the worst Arch Manning that I will see throughout the rest of the year, I will take it. I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud after what I just saw. I am not worried about Arch Manning at all. I think we have a Coach Sark problem, but that is not what this is about. I am going to move into the things that I loved and talk about the things that I enjoy seeing when I was watching my Texas Longhorns today. The things I loved seeing is that offensive line surprised me. The offensive line held. The offensive line looked fine. I was really impressed by this offensive line. So kudos to the University of Texas for building up this offensive line. And they looked pretty good out there. I was pretty impressed. I also enjoyed seeing CJ Baxter out there. I enjoyed seeing him run. I enjoyed seeing him just getting back out there and getting into his groove, into his rhythm. So shout out to him for that. I also really enjoyed watching this Texas defense go to work. I love a good front seven. I love a consistent defense. And yes, there are some penalties that were the reason why Ohio State scored. However, overall, I thought this defense played phenomenal. They held that Ohio State team to 14 points. That is remarkable. So we can't look at the things that Arch did and knock this Texas team and not give this Texas defense some praise because they looked great. The other thing that looked great, and I know a lot of people will probably think I'm being ridiculous by saying this, is our punter looked really good. And as a Texas fan, I know you know how much I'm saying this punter looked good, how much that means to us. Because for a while we struggled with having a punter that could punt the ball consistently 50 plus yards. And he looked good today. So I thought that was a bright spot. And I think it's going to continue to be a bright spot when you're in these close games because field position matters. So shout out to the punter. Shout out to that defense for doing what that defense did. Shout out to Baxter for being back. I like the offensive line work. I thought there were some great things that happened. And let me just tell you something right here. Grayson Littleton is a star. As a true freshman, earning a spot on this Texas team, playing in this football game, phenomenal. He popped on my screen. I love him for that. Let me get into the things that I did not like. Let's just talk about the Arch Manning elephant in the room. Arch Manning looked about how I thought Arch Manning was going to look. I've been saying this whole offseason, I don't expect Arch right now to go win games for us. I just expect him not to be the reason why we lose games. Today, he was the reason why we lose games. He missed throws by inches. And my concern isn't that he was missing throws by inches. My concerns were he didn't look comfortable to me. He didn't look comfortable in the pocket. And his mechanics, in my opinion, were a little off. Now, I'm no quarterback guru. I am not going to break down X's and O's here. But from what I could see and what my eye test was telling me and what my gut feels, I feel like he just looked a little bit unsettled. I do feel like, though, as the game progressed and as we got into the second half, he started to look a little bit better. Again, I think that's a Coach Sark thing, but whatever. And I do think we had a chance to tie tie this football game. He didn't do it. He missed 2 throws, in my opinion, where the guys were wide open, and that was a mistake. I expect him to be better. He did not have a good game, but I damn sure expect him to be better, and I don't think that is how Arch Manning is going to be at the end of the year, and I'll just leave that where it's at. Another thing that I absolutely cannot stand: pre-snap penalties. I do not like pre-snap penalties. Now, I get you're on the road. I get hostile environment. I understand all of that, but I do not like pre-snap penalties. I don't like when holding gets called, although it's kind of funny that Ohio State wasn't ever holding, but again, whatever, like one of those things. I'll just keep it moving. Details, 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 details. I need everybody on this Texas team to focus on the details. We have to focus on the details this year. The details is what is going to separate us from being really good to being great. And we need to be great. We've been really good for a while now. Now we need to be great. We have to focus on those details. Colin Simmons can't get that penalty on 3rd down. I absolutely hated that. One thing, I not taking points when your team is struggling on offense on the road against the number 3 team in the nation. I hate that decision. I hate that decision, especially because you haven't been good in the red zone, in my opinion, for the past 3 seasons. So if you're not good in the red zone for the past 3 seasons, and then you get an opportunity to put points on the board, I think 7-3 helps your team. 7-3 makes your team look a little better. 7-3 puts a little bit of pressure on Ohio State's offense when they run back on the field. Seeing 3 points on the field, on the scoreboard instead of a 0 could have helped this Texas team. I don't know what Sark was thinking. I don't know why he didn't take the points. I don't understand what that was for any, I just don't know what that was. I think he should have taken the points. Why does Coach Sark not do things that make sense? Why can he not see the game and how it's flowing and what is going on? I feel like Coach Sark does things in games for his offense that he wants to do or that he thinks will work, but never in the flow of the game. There was a lot of play calls and a lot of things that were happening in that first half of the football game where I kept saying, get Arch in this game. Give Arch easier looks because he looks timid. Let's change up this offense. What are we doing? I think Sark was still sticking to his script or still sticking to the calls that he wanted to make coming into this game. And I think when he gets into this game, he's not able to adjust to being in the game. And I think that that is a problem. There's a couple of calls that I saw him do today where I was like, why are we doing that? We were moving the ball, running the ball down the field with Wisner. We were moving the ball, doing all the right things, okay? And then we get inside of the 20s and it's like we stopped running the ball with Wisner. Now we start running the ball with Arch Manning. Why aren't we continuing to run the ball with Wisner? I don't understand what is going on. I feel like, and I don't know if this is true, but I feel like he comes into the game and he has a game plan. And whatever that game plan is, I feel like he's always trying to get back to the game plan instead of trying to do something within the game. It's like he's not doing things that like make sense. It's like he's not audibling. You know, like in life when something happens and you're like, I want it to happen this way and I wanted to do it this way, but when something happens, you don't do it. I don't see Sark audible enough from his original game plan to doing things that make sense within the game. I could go on and on about Coach Sark right now because I don't feel like he set his team up for success, and I have a problem with that. I think he has an excellent defense, and there's some elements where I feel like he's not allowing his defense to work, and he's not rewarding them. How do you reward your defense? You put points on the board. I will stop ranting about Sark. I'm watching him though. I am watching him. I have some things that I'm seeing that I don't particularly love, and that is concerning to me. One thing about me though is I like the journey. I like the journey. I like the process. I like the analyzation of this. I will tell you something. I do think Texas is a really good team. And there's a lot of things that I saw today that I kind of look at of my kind of nuances. And if you go pull up the stats of this football game, the stats tell you one thing about this football game that the scoreboard will never show you. I think Texas is a really good football team. I think right now this offense is a liability. I think this defense is fantastic, but this is on Sark and Arch to figure this out and to be better. And I expect them to be better. I expect it because that is what they're supposed to do. And you know what? I get to sit back and watch it. This is game one. Like, this is so exciting for me to like sit back, see how this develops and just see what happens. I do still think I should get a job on the sidelines because I think I could help Coach Sark during football games, and I wouldn't be scared to tell Coach Sark what he needs to do because I'm paying attention. However, I know that's not how this works, but I'll end this video. At this point, I'm going to rant like I will at all of these reaction videos throughout the year. I have 3 fiery things to say, and I don't know how people are going to take them, but I don't really care.
The first thing I'm going to say here is, do we have a wide receiver problem, or is Ohio State's defensive backs that good? Is Ohio State's secondary that good, and Texas doesn't have a wide receiver problem? I'm just throwing it out there because I'm paying attention to it. Second thing I'm paying attention to, Wisner needs to be RB1, Baxter needs to be RB2. I don't even know what else to say to that. Wisner needs to be RB1. Period. Period. Wisner needs to be RB1, Baxter needs to be RB2, and I think we need to see a combination of the other backs to see if that is the best way that we should go throughout the season. Again, I'll leave that where it's at, but I'm calling it out here because I'm paying attention to this running back room, and I'm paying attention to what's going on. And I saw a couple of things today that I'm starting to wonder if I'm paying attention to it. I'll just leave it at that. The third thing is Sark's red zone offense, Sark's offensive play calling. We need to start paying attention to this because it's starting to become a mounting issue. He's not breaking tendencies. He's not evolving. He's not growing. It's like he can't sense the game. He can't feel the game, and I have a problem with that. I have a really big problem with that. I don't even know what else to say, but I have a really big problem with that. And I'll just let it go and I'll leave it where it's at. I think our training's going to be just fine. I'm starting to worry more about Coach Sark. Anyways, I'll end this video here. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hook 'em! I'll see you in my next video.